This is Chris McCaley, and today's topic may have an obvious answer. Who should make statements in California bills? Now, I hope your answer is obviously the legislature, because the lawmaking power is granted to the California legislature by Article 4 of the California State Constitution. Now, what form should these statements take? Let's look first at findings and declarations. Most commonly, California bills and statutes contain an opening statement for purposes of listing findings and declarations, whether it's one finding or multiple findings. And it begins with the legislature finds and declares all of the following. Now, in some instances, different phrases can be found in California legislation, such as some bills that reach the governor's desk at the end of the 2023 legislative session. For example, one bill provides the legislature finds that improving promotional salary relationships is a top priority. Now, this example is not often found, perhaps just a handful of statutes that I could find in reviewing California's 29 codes. Most often, the opening statements includes both a finding and a declaration, so the legislature finds and declares. Bills and ultimately statutes, I think, should always use consistent language. Because legislative findings and declarations are well known, those words should be used throughout California's bills and ultimately statutes rather than a shortened version, such as just the legislature finds something. How about intent statements? Well, the second major type of statements in California bills are those expressing the intent of the legislature. The standard opening phrase is, "It is the intent of the legislature that," or sometimes we find the legislature intends something stated. Nonetheless, in reviewing bills that reached the governor's desk after the 2023 California legislative session, I came across some variations of this standard phrase. For example, one bill provided that um, the following, where it didn't even mention the legislature, but instead referenced the act. It said, "It is the intent of this act that all of the following are achieved." Another example comes from the same bill. It included two separate plus sections at the end of the bill that contained intent statements. In the first section, the intent statement doesn't use the standard language. It doesn't reference the legislature, and it actually is stated in the negative. It is not intended. So here's this one. It is not intended to be a violation of paragraph 29 of subdivision A of section 1770. The second plus section then in that bill references the legislature and uses the word intends, but it also doesn't use the standard language. Here they said the legislature intends that it is not a violation of paragraph 29 of subdivision A. In these three last examples I've read, should a court view these statements differently than the standard plus section that always provides the legislature finds and declares? Might a court do so? Courts say that the legislature chooses its words in statutes deliberately. Also, the legislature is viewed as meaning something different when different language is used. So this is one of the reasons why consistency in statutory language is always emphasized and is one of the most important guides for legislative drafters. Along with clarity, using clear, concise, non-legalese language, using the same language, consistency throughout a statute is an important drafting principle and should be followed, whether it's substantive language or other statements, even findings and declarations, and legislative intent statements.